Did you know that 1 in 3 people are deficient in up to 10 minerals? I mean, how often do you check your mineral levels in the body, right? We talk a lot about diet, exercise, sleep, walking, which are all amazing and foundational principles, but oftentimes we miss how much minerals we are intaking in the body, and they control a lot of different functions in the body, which we're going to cover in this short deep dive training on what minerals you should consider if you want optimal health functioning. Okay, so if you are new to this channel, my name is Troy Rice. I am a functional medicine practitioner and naturopath trained in several different disciplines, including brain health, functional breathing, and integrative medicine. Okay, and when I first learned this stuff, I had no idea that I should be paying attention to magnesium, which has over 300 enzymatic factors in the body. So buckle up and get ready for this, because we're going to share what ratios you might want to care about and how you can actually build a food plan that balances minerals in the body. So here we go. All right, one of the main things I want to drive home here is there are 6 minerals that are absolutely important, okay? There are a ton of minerals that are required in the body in low dosages all the way up to recommended daily allowances. We're going to cover those too, but I want to really talk about 6 primary. I want to talk about 4 powerful ones, and then ultimately 7 essential. So we're going to, in detail, cover 11 minerals. So here we go. So 6 important mineral ratios to make sure that you are getting in the body so that you are functioning properly on many different levels. Okay. So what we're going to talk about here is calcium to magnesium, and that should be a 7-to-1 ratio in the body. Calcium to potassium, that's going to be a 4-to-1 ratio in the body. Sodium to magnesium, that's going to be a 4-to-1. Sodium to potassium is a 2.5-to-1. Zinc to copper is an 8-to-1, okay? And then calcium to phosphorus should be 2.5-to-1, okay? And so like I mentioned earlier, if you're like me, I had no idea what balancing minerals in the body is. And, thankfully there are actually very simple tests that can help you with this. One of the best tests out there is a mineral metals test. That's a hair sample where literally you take just a piece of the back of the hair of your head, or, if you don't have any hair on your head, you can use other parts of the body, but you send in a hair sample, and it's a measure of the last 3 to 6 months across several different minerals and mineral ratios, including a heavy metal panel, okay? And you send that in, the lab burns your hair down and then analyzes it, and then you get your results. So it's very simple test to do, and you learn a lot about your health, especially your mineral health. And so earlier on in that introduction, I mentioned 10 minerals that nearly 1 out of 3 people are deficient in, and that includes potassium, magnesium, manganese, calcium, zinc, iron, copper, selenium, chromium, molybdenum, and boron, which is more of a trace mineral, but we'll talk a little bit about that, okay? So the next thing I want to call out is there's this giant web, and I'm going to share a graphic here, but how important it is to synergistically consider what minerals are in the body. And then there's an antagonistic perspective, which is minerals that actually don't work well in the body. And we'll talk about those a little bit too. But again, as I mentioned, a lot of the minerals that we try to get in our foods nowadays is just not there. And we're going to talk about why that is. But I just want you to know that minerals drive so many pathways in the body, and you're going to really find that out, especially at an actual mineral level. Like, why does magnesium matter so much? Okay, so here we go. 3 primary factors that deplete minerals. So why do we care? Like, why are we not getting it in our foods nowadays? Why are we not getting it other sources, maybe our water sources and everything? Well, there are 3 main primary reasons, okay? Overconsumption of highly refined foods. And really the biggest takeaway here is I think we can all agree that highly refined foods are probably not good for us, especially overconsumed. Like once in a while, maybe a cheat day as a treat is excellent. And, I want to, personally share with you, like, that was me. Like, I was waking up every single day eating cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. when I was a kid. I carried that into adulthood. I would literally find the biggest bowl I could have and have a large bowl of, Captain Crunch berries or you name it. So I am not coming from a place of growing up learning these things. These are all new to me in my practitioner studies. So I want to offer you that as a learning opportunity for you. If you are in that space, there's always a way to learn to do better. But why does that matter? When we eat highly processed foods, our body has to work harder to actually break down those foods and subtract or get out the nutrients from it. And then if it causes inflammation in any way, like seed oils that are cooked, and many of these are cooked with in these refined foods, we have to use minerals to actually help with antioxidant support and inflammation. So it's a double-edged sword, right? You're eating the foods, you're trying to find the nutrients in the foods that just aren't there, and then your body's trying to double support if there's any type of inflammation, okay? So that will drive your mineral levels down. Soil erosion from fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides. Before going into the stint of naturopath, I actually did a stint in agriculture, and I learned so much about application of chemicals and farmers. And so I'd encourage you to work with a local farmer that doesn't use that you know what they're using for good source nutrients. That doesn't even have to be organic. You could find farmers that are regenerative farmers that are certified naturally grown, which is an organization that certifies farmers that grow with good practices, okay? But those deplete the minerals in the food. And so just think about it. If there's no minerals in the plant, and then even the animals are eating the no mineral based plants or foods, then there's really no minerals left for us, right? And so that's one way, okay? And so there's even a study here that said foods today are nearly 30% less nutrient dense than they were back in 1940s, which, after 1940s where we started to do all the commercialized agriculture or industrialized agriculture, okay? Heavy metals competing with absorption. If we are consuming things with heavy metals, that could be, mercury found in fish. It could be in our waterways, maybe our foods and how they're cooked, maybe the cookware. Our body is competing with that. So we're storing those toxins. And if we're not getting rid of them from the body, well, our minerals are trying to compete with that for absorption and utilization. So those are the top three depleters, okay? So what would it look like if you were deficient in any minerals? Okay, here are some signs of mineral imbalances and then as well as signs of heavy metal overload. So signs of mineral imbalances: high blood pressure, low blood pressure, fatigue, lightheadedness, dizziness, skin discoloration, nail discoloration, sweating or excessive sweating. It could even be no sweating at all. Like if your body just not sweating anymore when you're exercising, that could be a sign too. Breathing difficulties, heart arrhythmias, low mood or apathy, headaches, digestive issues, learning issues, allergies, asthma, and chronic inflammation, okay? How about signs of heavy metal overload? Headaches, joint pains, skin inflammation, skin pigmentation abnormalities, tingling in the extremities, nausea, vomiting, sweating, breathing difficulty, heart arrhythmias. So a lot of these are the same, you can see, and chronic inflammation and autoimmune issues. Okay, so you can see how much shows up when we're deficient and or we have heavy metal toxicity. So let's talk about the power four. Okay, so if you get anything out of this training, here are the top four minerals that I would consider getting on a daily basis in your food and even in your water if you do things like electrolyte practices, whether that's an electrolyte powder that you trust or a pinch of sea salt or caustic salt with a squeeze of lemon or lime, okay? So magnesium, number one. What does it do? Kidney health. It can act as a laxative, nerve conduction, muscle contraction, bone formation, energy, glucose, fat metabolism, protein synthesis, liver health. So you can just see, I mentioned earlier, it's responsible for over 300 enzymatic factors in the body. So you definitely want to get your optimal levels of magnesium. And within this free guide below this training, you can see all of these that I'm talking about and the recommended daily values that you should try and hit, whether you are a male or a woman, or different age ranges as well. So whether you're younger or you're in your 50s or 60s, okay? So I'm not going to talk about that here. Sodium is the next one. Sodium is responsible for blood pressure health, heart rate health, acid-base balancing in the body, production of hydrochloric acid for breaking down food in the stomach, right? It can be used for lowering aldosterone and it can turn toxins into water soluble, because when toxins come into the body, they usually are stored in your fat tissues. So we have to find a way to get them out of your fat tissues and turn them into water soluble, which is something that your liver does. So making sure taking care of your liver, okay? I've also listed synergistic nutrients on this guide as well. I'm not going to drain that in here, but for example, like for sodium, it says work synergistically with glucose, manganese, chromium, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B, okay? So I want you to access this guide and see all the ones that work synergistically together, and there's some that are antagonistic as well. So the next one I want to talk about is potassium, used for heart rate health. Dilates the arteries, lower blood pressure, acid-base balancing, improves digestion, raises aldosterone when needed, and other hormones as well. And it's involved in carb metabolism, so breaking down and metabolizing carbs in the body, okay? The last of the power four is calcium. Listen to this role of calcium in the body, okay? Heart health, constricts small blood vessels, inhibits water loss. Digestive health, slows nerve impulse transmission. Cell division support, inhibits the release of thyroid stimulating hormone and other hormones. Stimulates blood formation, helps with clotting, reduces muscular irritability and contractibility. Bone health, phosphorus metabolism, energy production, inhibits uptake of lead, and decreases permeability of cells to sodium and potassium ions. So pretty important, right? So let me just talk a little bit about 7 additional essential minerals, okay? Iron, right? Primary functions of oxygen transport, cellular energy production. Copper, energy production, female reproductive system. Manganese, energy production, glucose tolerance. Zinc, activator of enzymes, growth and development. Male reproductive system, insulin production and secretion, okay? Chromium, glucose tolerance, cholesterol regulation, synthesis of DNA and epigenetic expression. Selenium, antioxidant support, protector of cell membranes, electron transport support, glutathione and metabolism support, circulatory health, digestive health, reproductive health, and then heavy metal detoxifying help, okay? And we also know that selenium and iodine are absolutely crucial for thyroid health as well, okay? Phosphorus, bone structure, energy production, cell membrane support, genetic reactions for DNA and RNA, and osmotic pressure maintenance. So, and those are just a couple of listed. There's more on there on this list when you access the guide. Now, let's get to the good part, okay? So, what can you do about this? Yes, you could consider supplements, and sometimes that might be the best source depending on what mineral it is and your accessibility to certain foods. Plus, we know, again, there's 30% less nutrients in the foods, right, than there used to be. But with all of that said, I am putting a chart in this guide that shows you how to eat to balance your mineral levels, okay? So in other words, you're going to access a guide that's going to show you all high-rich foods for calcium, rich foods for magnesium, sodium, potassium, iron, copper, manganese, zinc, chromium, selenium, and phosphorus. There's a whole list of foods there that you can consider making meals and all that with these foods to balance it out. If you're interested in finding out where your mineral levels are at, instead of just doing a symptomatic approach, I would highly encourage, again, the minerals and metals test. I'm going to provide a link in this guide. It's a simple test, relatively cost effective. You can get it for anywhere between $150 to $200. And you can work with a practitioner like me to interpret it and then help you build a plan, okay? And as mentioned in all trainings, if you're interested in building a foundation for yourself, what we do is we create a personalized wellness suit for our clients, which means you're not chasing health. You're actually living in a life of optimal health, and that is your personalized wellness suit journey. And it covers foundational pillars of diet, exercise, stress, toxins, recovery, emotional health and balance, sleep, and then supplements when needed. So hope you enjoyed that deep dive on minerals. More to come on that. I'd like to extensively talk about each mineral in depth because they really do earn that respect. They do so many functions in the body. So I will see you next time, and make sure you access the resources below.